This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It should not be used to substitute the advice from your medical professional or primary care provider. If you are having any kind of medical issue or emergency, you should call 911 or go to your nearest emergency room, urgent care center, or consult with your doctor.
Welcome to Healthcare Snitches.
Hi everyone, welcome to episode 7.
Oh my God, we had episode 7
I
already?
know.
Yeah.
Before we jump right in, I wanted to remind you guys to make sure you like our videos and subscribe on the different platforms. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you're seeing our beautiful faces, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you can get notified when we post our podcasts every
Every other
2
Sunday.
weeks. Yep, every other Sunday. And on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, subscribe and like as well so that you'll get notified when we post.
And tell your mamas, tell your sisters, tell your cousins, tell your aunties, tell your doctors.
Right.
Jasmine took me to the dentist, to the oral surgeon on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And right before he gave me my anesthesia, you can ask Jasmine, I told them about the podcast. He got on his cell phone. He looked it up, him and his assistant, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't be playing in the streets. So y'all can do the same. And I just wanted to actually touch base on something. My Aunt Lisa made a comment that she doesn't understand why I am running my shirts. Why is it that she sees me wearing the same shirt for more than one episode? So I would just like to let you guys know, just like I let her know, that I'm not running my shirt. We always record 2 episodes when we are together. So yes, you will see me in the next episode as well. Some of you may not care, which most of you probably don't care, but my Aunt Lisa is psycho, so she cares. So Aunt Lisa, I'll let the world know.
Also, I do run my shirt, and so you will see me in. Well, actually, I've been wearing a variation of black shirt throughout. But you may see the same black shirt, and that's okay too, because that's what I want to do. It's not dirty.
You hear that, Aunt Lisa? She said what she said.
But we have a little different background now, so we're not, I'm not blending into my black curtains with my black shirt.
Which Aunt Lisa also said.
She did. So
look at the pillows, y'all. They are
yes,
too cute. Okay.
All right. So this episode, I know, right? This episode is about caregivers. So caregiver stress, caregiver fatigue, some important legal documents that you should have in place if you are a caregiver. What else? What else are we going to talk about?
When it's time to consider a nursing home.
Yes.
When you need to give up your caregiver role and let someone else help.
Very, very tough. So I think most of the things we're going to focus on are dealing with, like, if you're a caregiver for like a parent or an older person. But we do know that some people are caregivers for their children.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of the things that we're going to focus on. I mean, it's
mostly adult stuff.
Yeah, some of it, like, it can pertain to you guys, because if you're stressed out, you want to, take those precautions. But maybe instead of like considering a nursing home, you may want to consider at-home care, usually for like pediatric.
But
patients.
A lot of parents feel like, I got this and I don't want anybody to help me do this for my child.
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
Well, if that's how you feel, then, I don't know what to say. But.
Yeah, they can easily be burned out.
Yeah.
So, do you guys even know what a caregiver is? It's a person who tends to the needs and the care of someone who can't take care of themselves, or someone who needs assistance being taken care of. So I'm sure at some point in time we've all either been a caregiver or we've assisted with someone who was taking care of another person and we helped them out, or we've just been a witness to it. Lots of times, like Jasmine said, when you're older and your parents become ill, you become their caregiver.
Yeah, and that doesn't have to be like a long-term thing. Sometimes it could just be if they had a surgery or if they fall ill and you just have to take care of them until they get back on their feet. And sometimes it is long-term. Sometimes they may have dementia or Alzheimer's or be physically ill where they can't care for themselves, and so then you would have to care for them.
Yeah.
So I think the things we'll speak about apply to like short term and also like long term care for whoever you have to care for in the long term.
So one of the things that I came across was to help people understand like what falls under caregiver. They said that you should think of it as a 3-leg stool, right? So the first leg.
That doesn't sound good at all. Because a 3-leg stool ain't holding me up.
Well, it says the first leg is the family caregivers, right?
Okay.
And then the second leg are the professional caregivers. So that's like the doctors, the nurses, all of the medical staff. Mm-hmm. And then the third leg is the care recipient, right? So you have the caregiver, the care recipient, and the medical team.
The care team.
Yeah. So they said without all 3 legs, the care won't be as effective as it needs to be. So when I read that part, it does make sense.
Okay.
Because, like, how am I going to be a caregiver and not have the support of a medical team guiding me?
Right. It's not going to, you don't always know what you're doing, so it won't be as good.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to go over some things that being a caregiver can include? Just reading through some of this stuff, I'm like, all my life I had to fight.
Okay, yeah. So Kim has definitely been a caregiver more than I have.
I had to fight.
I've had to care for a few people usually for me, it's been post-operatively, or just, I've actually cared for a lot of people, so I don't even know why I'm saying that.
But, yeah, but just reading some of this stuff, it's like, we are caregivers of these kids, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of these kids and husbands, and parents, and it's just like all my life I had to fight. All your life you had to fight too.
All my life I did have to fight.
So
I'm still fighting,
right?
Yeah.
So some of the things that they said, if you have to take people to their appointments. So you was my caregiver on Monday because you sure enough picked me up. Okay, took me, got my little anesthesia, got my wisdom tooth pulled, and you brought me back. So you was my caregiver. All your life you had to fight. It said purchasing or organizing medications.
Right.
We've both been there. Communicating with healthcare professionals. Child, we both been there.
Yes, absolutely.
Assisting with getting people in and out of bed or in or out of chairs. Going food shopping for them or other type of shopping. Bathing. Or showering these people. Feeding them or even preparing food. Tell me this is not the role of a mother.
It is. It sounds like you're taking care of a baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Managing finances. Ooh, child, all your life you had to fight.
Yes.
Yeah, all your life you had to fight. Yeah, so if you are doing any of those things that we just named, plus more, you are a caregiver. You may not know that, but you are definitely a caregiver.
Yeah, if you're doing it, especially on a regular basis. Now, where it becomes a little bit tricky is I feel like it's different for each scenario. So let's just say you're caring for someone post-operatively. It's best to become involved before the actual surgery. So if you can, you want to attend the pre-op appointment with whoever you're going to be caring for so that you understand the procedure they're having and so that you ask all the questions that need to be asked for post-op. So like, what do you need once you are discharged? What are the medications? What are they for? How often should the patient get them?
Yeah.
What should they be doing? Should they be ambulating? Should they lay down?
Every single thing.
Do they need to lay on their back? Can they lay on their side?
One of the questions my husband asked is, when can I have sex?
Right, because they always want to know that.
You gotta ask everything.
Make sure you ask all those questions before you have to start giving the care, because the care is actually going to start. The care starts then, but while they're in the hospital, and then once you're discharged, it's a whole different ball game, because when you're in the hospital, you have the nurses, the doctors, the aides, the techs, everybody that helps you out.
Physical therapy.
Yeah, physical therapy. But then once you get home, you may get some of that stuff at home, like in the home, or you may go to the outpatient version of like physical therapy or whatever, however you have it set up. But it's going to be you by yourself. And that person is probably not going to feel the best. And they may take it out on you because if they're in pain, right?
Everything aggravates
them. They are going to be asking for their medic. It's just going to be a whole thing. So you want to make sure you have the post-op stuff aligned before, during pre-op. Whether that's food, medications, whatever. You want to make sure you have all of that together before the actual procedure.
Prayer.
And a lot of prayer. Now, if you are just kind of hoisted into being a caregiver without notification or without like knowing of it beforehand, then obviously there's nothing you can really do to kind of prepare for that. Yeah.
And it does happen sometimes.
It does happen, but you still want to try to take some time out to think about how you're going to manage this person's care. And that still involves one of the legs of that 3-legged stool. And that would be talking to the care team, right? So like, whatever the condition is, how long do I have to, how long are they going to be homebound or bedbound or whatever the case is? I know you talk about
to like strict protocols,
right?
Sometimes you have to,
yeah.
But these are just for acute things like surgery. But then there's times when you are a full-time caregiver, for like chronic situations.
Yeah. A lot of people, like Kim said, as we get older and your parents start to get older, you become their caregiver, right? They can't work anymore. So you have to be the person to care for them full time. There are some services that there are some services that provide home health aides, or they can pay you to be the home health aide. And
doesn't Medicaid do that?
Medicaid, certain managed Medicaid plans do that. Particularly in New York.
I don't know
New Jersey if they really do that.
I was Googling something today, doing my research, and something popped up about get paid to be a caregiver in New Jersey.
Okay, so they do it in New Jersey. So you can get paid. I don't think it's a lot. Don't.
Yeah, you don't want a career out of it.
Yeah, it could be a little side hustle. Matter of fact, I should have applied so I can get paid hourly for Monday.
Little gas money.
Right, a little $40 real quick. What it do? I think it's only long-term care though. Look, you guys want to look into that because we didn't.
Yeah.
But you can get paid to be a caregiver for your family member if it's going to be a situation where they do need a home health aide. And I think it could be either short or long term. Again, look into it yourselves because I don't know. But I do know there are programs out here in these streets where you can get paid to be the caregiver. Yeah. So that would definitely help because a lot of times we end up being caregivers for free. And some people have to end up quitting their jobs just to care for their parents or loved ones. And, that's the reason why they started these programs so that you could just
get some relief, get some help,
some financial assistance. Because think about it, you're going to have food for this person. They are still going to have to somewhat like bathe in some way. So you have to have, materials to do that.
And some people are on specialized diets and stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And there's home delivery services that can
like Meals
deliver food, right? What's the other one called? Meals on Wheels.
Don't make me laugh.
Something about grandmas. There are a lot of services that will deliver food to your home, but again,
so doing all of this, right, can definitely cause stress, which takes us back to the last episode. So some of the signs and symptoms that people may want to keep their eyes open for is feeling depressed, feeling sad, feeling like you don't have energy to do what you would normally do, losing sleep or getting too much sleep, not wanting to eat or eating too much, misusing alcohol and other substances, becoming easily annoyed and angry.
Am I a caregiver?
Yeah, I'm a
caregiver. This sounds like me. All these symptoms.
Gain.
Frequent headaches and body aches.
I have that too.
Okay.
I have the headaches.
Okay.
Am I caregiver? My head.
Yes, you are caregiver. We are established that we're moms, and so. Oh, this is so sad.
I know, and too much of these stressful things can affect your health.
Yeah, like we said in episode 5.
Yeah, and if you are no good, how are you going to be good to somebody else?
You're not.
How am I going to take care of Ernestine over there? And I can't even take care of myself. I'm hanging by a thread. I'm falling apart. This is what people need to understand.
Yeah.
The caregiver and the recipients as well. Don't ask too much of me if I ain't got it.
Right. So you want to look out for those signs that you are stressed from the caregiving. You want to look out for those signs, just like any other time you would look out for the signs of being stressed. There are support groups that you can join if you are interested in getting some type of support from people that understand what you're going through. New Jersey also has a respite care program.
Oh yeah, I used to recommend that to my patients when I was a care manager in Jersey.
Okay.
To my patients' family, excuse me.
Yeah, so you can apply for it. It's a statewide program.
Mm-hmm.
It can include adult daycare, home care, companion services, short stay in a facility. Child, so you just drop them like it's hot on a weekend.
Deuces, granny.
Right, and go. That sounds so bad. I didn't mean it to sound like that. But if you're getting burnt out, like sometimes you need that. So you can apply to have that so that you can get a break, because you have to care for yourself. Like Kim said, if you don't care for yourself, then you won't be able to care for that person. You won't be here.
And we'll both need caregivers, or we gonna go on home to glory.
Right. Or we both gonna be in a home somewhere.
Sharing a room.
Yeah. Getting the STDs like they are in them homes right now.
Wait, why we gotta be getting STDs?
Because they're on the rise in these nursing homes, honey.
Yeah, they are nasty old biddies.
Getting it in.
Unprotected.
I mean, they figure there ain't nothing to lose. They either about to die or they too old to get pregnant, so bust it down, bust it wide open real quick. In the nursing home, though, I mean, I guess when I'm 85,
You still want your hands on your knees.
Right. This episode was not supposed to go this way, but here we are.
Ooh, child. Ooh. They can also set goals that they know that they can reach, right? So my thing is, Douglas, don't ask me
not Douglas
to do something. Don't ask me to give you this enema and I don't feel comfortable giving you this enema. I'm gonna set goals for what I can do. I can give you
you talking about at the nursing home?
As a caregiver.
Oh.
Don't ask me to give you this enema if I'm not comfortable
because
putting this up your butt.
Because if Douglas asked me to give him an enema, he's going to a nursing home. I'm not doing that.
But my thing is, I will give you Dulcolax, Douglas.
Oh. But then who's cleaning that up?
I will give you Dulcolax, but I'm not gonna give you an enema. Hopefully he can go to the bathroom. If he can't go to the bathroom, he needs to be in the nursing home.
Right. Because get somebody else to do it, Douglas. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. That's why I don't do bodily fluids like that. And so I say like that, I don't do them. I think I do a few. But not, you know what, this wasn't supposed to be this type of episode. Where am I going here?
But wait. This is the most important one to me.
Mm-hmm.
Ask for help. Ask for help. If you have family or friends who are willing to help you be a caregiver and like you need a break, it's kind of like when I first had Corey. There were times I couldn't take a shower. I had to call my cousin and ask her to just come watch the baby so I can get in the shower. Yeah. Like, you need to ask for help, because if you're at the point where you need help and you're not going to get it, you're going to hit rock bottom. You are, eventually. Like, you may not feel like it the first or second time you are having a breakdown, but after that third or fourth time, it's not going to be good for you. Yeah. So you need to ask for help. Do not be afraid to ask for help, especially if you feel like everything is on your shoulders and you have other family members that are not doing much. Ask for help. Mm-hmm. Do you agree? I agree. Especially as somebody who normally stands by herself. Yeah. When stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They say that you should definitely take care of yourself, like we said.
Some of these tips are the same as episode 5, right? Journal, go out, have a social life. Leave Douglas when he's sleeping and go out to the club or something.
Leave Douglas in the crate with the dog. No, I'm
In
just
the
playing.
crate?
I'm just
Now
kidding.
we do not promote elder abuse.
I'm just kidding.
In the crate though, I can't.
I'm just saying he'll be safe.
Right. Well, leave Ernestine for a little bit and go out. Go, have some dinner with some friends. Socialize. Make sure that you keep up with those things, because if not, again, after a while, it's going to wear on you and you're going to end up being burnt out, and that's not going to be good.
And if Ernestine can't be home by herself, then maybe you can call a friend and just ask a friend if they'll come over and sit with her so you can go out, right?
Yeah. Maybe you'll meet that friend at one of the support groups that you go to. That way you guys could kind of like tag team and support each other.
Yeah.
Or even if you can't leave the house, maybe you can have like a game night at your house with your friends. I don't know. But make sure you do something that is social and that you enjoy so that you don't lose your mind.
Another thing, take care of your health first, right? So what I noticed a lot when I was a care manager, a lot of the family members, like the wives or the husbands, were so busy taking care of their spouse that they did not go to their own doctor's appointments. Yeah. I would ask questions like, well, when was your last annual? 3 years ago.
Oh, no.
When was your last mammogram? I can't even remember.
Yeah, because you're so busy taking care of them and taking them to all their doctor's appointments that you done neglected yourself, and now, child, I can't.
Yeah. It's so hard for some people because some people really don't have help.
They don't, and they don't think about themselves because they're so
selfless.
Yeah, they're selfless. They want to care for that. I mean, when you think about it. So over the last summer, my mom had surgery and I was her caregiver for the most part. Yeah, pretty much. And when I think about that time frame, it was a lot. I was going back and forth to the hospital.
Which wasn't close to here.
Which was not close to here at all. There were times where I didn't eat and I had, someone bring me some food. And then when she got moved to a facility again, the eating became difficult for me again.
You didn't really want to have your mask off there either, because then they have like an outbreak of
COVID. They did. They had like a COVID thing real quick. So
yeah,
that was an issue. And then one of the things that kind of like surprised me was that it was getting to be a little financially taxing, even though I wasn't like paying for anything for her.
Yes.
I was having to get gas more often to go back and forth from the facility. Eating out.
Whenever you did eat.
Right. When I was, which it was eating out because I was there most of the time. So it was like, oh, let's get DoorDash. Let's do this. Let's do that. Oh, what do you want to eat? And then I would come here. Sometimes I would cook food for her and I would bring it over there. So it was like a lot of money things happening that I didn't necessarily think about until it was happening. And I was like, hold up, wait a minute. Like, the food alone, the ordering of the food, and then the managing her, like, getting all of her DMEs. So, like, like a walker and this and that. All of these things add up. And so that's also a huge component.
Wait, for her DMEs, her insurance didn't pay for that?
They paid for some of it, but then they didn't. Like, some of it wasn't covered. Yeah, like a grabber thing. They were like, "Bitch, you don't need that."
Oh my God! NYU gave that to Boo for free.
Well, that was NYU, sweetie. We didn't go there. We went to Jersey City, wherever. But it wasn't a lot. But I'm just saying, all of the little things kind of like added up, and I didn't really anticipate that. And a lot of people get stressed out financially from these caregiver roles, right? Because let's just say your person can't talk because I don't even know, whatever reason. Let's just say you don't have access to their finances and you have to use your own and your finances really ain't popping like that. You're going to struggle. So there are some documents that we have that we're going to recommend that you have in place. So, to help you out with that, really, it may or may not help you out financially. It really depends on if they have finances, because then it will give you the power to utilize those finances while they can't care for themselves. But that is a huge piece of it, the financial piece and also the mental piece. So in addition to making sure that you're going to the doctor, taking care of your physical health, you want to make sure you're taking care of your mental health. So that's where all of the, going out, having fun comes in. But if you need to get into somebody's therapy, or if you need to go talk to somebody, that is critical and that is key. That's going to help you out. You're going to be able to talk to someone about what you're going through, the stress that's on you. Because also, when you think about it, when you're caring for someone, you don't also want to complain to them like, "Oh, I gotta care for you." So that's why, right? They're already going through because you're caring for them.
To make them, you don't want it to make it feel like they're a burden, even if they are.
Right. So you need that outlet.
It's life changing for the both of you.
It is. I mean, and you may not always want to burden your friends with that either. You may not want to be venting to your friends all the time and feeling like you're just the person that is venting all the time.
I'm gonna vent to you.
I'm gonna vent to you because we do it now anyway. So why not add an extra?
I am gonna burden you.
And I'm gonna burden you as well. So I will warn you now. And I'm fine. I'll listen, and I will.
You not only listen, but you also give good recommendations as well. So I'm gonna need that.
You do too, and that's why we're here.
Okay. Talented people. This
Right.
Soul sister.
Right. Because look, if it ain't one thing, it's another. Okay, we care for kids, husbands. I ain't got no husband,
but
when I did,
you did,
yes.
And mothers, I don't have my mother, but ooh, child.
Yes, I'm caring. And
you do.
I feel like that's the last type of person I'll be caring for because I'm not.
She's saying that until she meets her next husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one of the documents is power of attorney, right? So this one authorizes someone to make legal decisions when they are no longer competent. So it also covers authority to make final decisions. So that's like when they say pull a plug.
Ooh, that sounds so.
Yeah.
So does that also cover? So I know you said pull the plug. But if you want to have the orders at the hospital to say do not resuscitate.
No, that falls under
healthcare proxy? Oh, okay.
Yep.
So power of attorney says pull the plug, but not do not resuscitate?
So it just says it also covers authority to make final decisions. So you know what? That's final legal decisions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's final legal decisions.
Because I also have here that the power of attorney deals with the healthcare finances too.
So the durable power of attorney. So the durable power of attorney is the AKA healthcare proxy.
Okay.
So that one is all decisions regarding healthcare.
Okay.
So that's like do not intubate, do not resuscitate.
Okay.
Any medical treatment like let's say that your husband's sister is like, cut the leg off. And the wife is like, I don't want you to cut the leg off.
Right.
I'm just making that up.
You're just going to go based on what's in this document because you don't trust none of them snitches.
Right.
So that's why it's important to have these documents in place because you don't want Becky and Heather making those decisions when you're on your deathbed talking about he can live without.
Leave him on a vent for the next 50 years.
Right. We don't care. He's a vegetable. We don't care,
It's a lot, and I think married couples should have this in place as well, which I should take my own advice. Because there are some times when like a mother may be like, I can't let my baby go.
Yeah.
I can't take my baby off this vent. When the doctor is saying that your son is brain dead. Mm-hmm. Your son is brain dead. And the wife is like, this is not what he wanted. Yeah. This is not what he wanted because I have proof that this is not what he wanted, right? So that's where that healthcare proxy comes in. And end of life decisions. But you know what I want to know, which I didn't research? What? If a healthcare proxy, how does that coincide with a spouse? Like, does the healthcare proxy override what a spouse may say?
Because, I believe so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's that one. Oh, and that's also, you can also make decisions with choosing healthcare providers too.
So like if they need to see a specialist or, okay.
So like my sister-in-law has me listed as her healthcare proxy. So like I can call her doctors and I can speak to them even if she's not on the phone or even if she's not there, because she has me down on her chart as a healthcare proxy. She filled out the paperwork.
Okay. Ooh, that's key.
Mm-hmm.
So when we start advocating for people,
Yeah,
add us as your healthcare proxy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is the power of attorney, because when I was like doing my research or whatever, I know we said something about that, but there was something I came across that was like in one of these documents, you could say like, oh, I don't want that snitch Beverly at my funeral.
I don't know.
You made sure she not there.
I don't know, but my family, we definitely need that because we stay Xing somebody out of our funeral.
And so you need to put that in writing. I think that might be the living will.
Hold on.
No, I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. The will of the trust.
Life support procedures. No. The living trust. No, the will.
All right. In one of these places,
I don't know.
If you know you don't want certain people at your funeral, put it in there.
Just do a video and then also put it in writing and go get it notarized.
Yeah, get it has to be notarized, or otherwise it's not valid, because that could have been anybody writing anything.
Jasmine is a notary.
I am. So
if you need her to notarize your list of people that you don't want at your funeral, she can do it for you.
And I can also make sure that I stand at the door like a bouncer and make sure they don't come up in there. And if you can provide pictures too, that would be great. Just so I know what they look like. Because I know I got a few where I'm like, don't come up in here crying now, because I didn't like you when I was here.
Yeah,
you didn't like me. So,
all right. So then we have the living will or the advance directive. So this one is where you can state in advance what kind of medical care they do and do not want to receive. A lot of these things sound like they're pretty close to each other.
They do, but they have like subtle differences. Which,
and it also covers what life support procedures they would not like to have. So I guess that would be like the resuscitation and stuff.
Yeah.
This is used when a person isn't able to make their wishes known on their own. So it's good to have it in advance.
Yeah, because you never know. Hence the name advance.
Yeah.
You never know when this sounds bad. You never know when an earthquake will happen. And then you unconscious. And then next thing you know,
you went home in glory.
Right. Or you see the light, but maybe it's not your time quite yet. And so now they want to pump you, bring you back. I feel like I do that every episode at least once. They want to bring you back to life, but you're like, nah, I like this light. I kind of want to go. Cause
you like the Grim Reaper.
I know. I'm just sending people into the light all the time. Maybe you don't want to go into the light. Maybe you want to be charged up every time just to make sure it's, not your time.
Wait,
or whatever.
Do you remember Polka Dice? Caroline, come into the light.
I never watched that.
Oh, sorry. That was an old school movie.
It
I used
was.
to watch it with my mama. Oh my God, you thirsty too?
I am.
Hey, girl. And then we have the living trust. This is too much for me. I would have to hire a lawyer. I don't ever.
Absolutely, I'd either have to go on LegalZoom or what's the other one? I'm gonna say Barely Legal. That ain't one.
Oh, you talking about the one that we utilize? What's it called? We both have accounts with it.
I know.
Oh my God, what's it called, guys? Rocket
Lawyer.
Rocket Lawyer. There you go.
I'd be up on there trying to get one of these documents because.
Oh yeah.
Or go to a lawyer.
So I remember these from my final, from my my leadership class when I was in nursing school. We had to know all of these. It was on my final. We had to know the difference. I guess I passed because I'm here to tell my story.
Right.
But I really don't remember this stuff anymore. But a living trust allows you to create a trust and appoint someone, a trustee, to manage the trust assets when they aren't able to manage their finances.
You may not need, I just want to point out, you may not need all of these documents.
No.
But they do different things. And so that's why it would be wise for you to consult with a lawyer so that they could draft this up or...
And so they can tell them their needs, and then they can figure out, okay, this is what you need.
Right.
And this one, for the living trust, It can be a person or a financial institution. So is that what is
Wendy
going on
Williams?
with Wendy Williams? Yeah, that's the first thing I thought about.
I believe so because she had all that money, and so they're like, "Whoa, this is way too much money."
Yeah.
And you ain't in your right mind, and so
That's
what
what I'm
that
thinking.
is.
The living trust.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then a will. The will's name, and executor, and beneficiaries. So I remember when my mom was hanging by a thread in the hospital before she went to the hospice. She was still in a little bit right state of mind.
Okay.
So we had her sign some paperwork listing my sister as the executor of her estate. And my sister said never again. I asked my sister if I could list her as my executor. She said absolutely not. She said she's never doing that again.
Why?
You're just responsible for everything. It's crazy. So so the executor manages the person's estate at the time of death. So like when we sold her condo, and then we had to have them come pick up her car, just like everything, just everything. You're just responsible for everything.
That's a lot. And I think a lot of people don't really plan ahead like that. And unfortunately, when they leave, the family members that they leave behind have to then pick up pieces,
figure it out,
and it's a lot. My dad was a lawyer, and he didn't have anything in place, to be quite honest with everybody. And he had me running around in a foreign country, closing accounts and paying our debts and
planning
funerals and doing all types of stuff because he just did not plan for it. And quite honestly, I wish I would have. I figured, oh, you're a lawyer. You probably have some secret will somewhere in a box. I don't know, but
he said in a box.
Well, the way he was living, he could have been anywhere in that house, but he didn't have any of that, and so it was left all on his children, and it was mainly me and my one of my other sisters to kind of like sort through, and then it was left to my mom because they were still legally married, so she had to shuffle her tail onto a foreign country to sew all that up. And it was just she had to go there twice, actually.
She did?
Yeah. She went there once
by herself?
She went, she went once by herself, and then she went once with my uncle. She actually might have gone,
Wait, by herself? You was there once?
She didn't go when I went. I went for the funeral.
Oh, she didn't go to the funeral?
No, because we couldn't all go because Omar was a baby.
Oh, ooh, child.
I know.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah,
So you was in a foreign country doing all this legwork by yourself without her?
Without her, yes, but the ex was there, and my sister, and then all my siblings came, so it was about 8 of us strong.
That's a lot. Y'all don't want to do this.
You don't want to do it. I mean, I know it was probably harder because it was in a different country, but actually, I don't think that really played a role. I think if you would have had stuff in place, like legally, like some of these documents were, any of these documents, he didn't have not one of them, not even like a scribble on a napkin. Nor did he even tell anyone, like, hey, this is what I would want. So we literally just had to do everything based on, like, how it was. Yeah. And my mom in the end, had to do it.
I also feel like that's selfish.
Absolutely. Because it was selfish until the end.
Yeah.
That's Sorry. Really I don't mean to speak ill.
No, not just him, but just in general, like not taking care of some of these things, at least meet me halfway. I think that's selfish.
It is. And, as a caregiver, if you don't have any of these things in place, you may want to do that too, because look, if you're going to be stressing yourself out and burning yourself out, you're going to need to have these documents in place just in case something goes down for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And I need to take this advice.
We both too. Now, if your loved one has any of these issues, it might be time for a nursing home. All jokes aside, it may be above you. Like, we can't do this at home anymore. One of the things is if they are confined to their bed. Most people who are caretakers will, caregivers, sorry. Caretakers sound like they're about to go down.
Right, the glory.
Caregivers know that you have to turn your patient every couple of hours so that they don't get like bed sores and stuff. But if they're confined to a bed, bathing them is challenging. Making sure that they don't get bed sores is also, and then keeping their skin moisturized and all that stuff, changing them when they're soiled, which can also lead to skin breakdown. It's a lot. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you might want the professionals to
get
step
somebody
in
else to do it
and help. Yeah.
Yes. I need a shirt that says that.
Get someone else to do it.
Yes.
And if they've had several falls, that means they're pretty unstable. You might want them to go into a nursing home where they can be monitored better because they're falling for a reason. I'm not sure if it's because of clutter on the floor or something mentally, or they're just very unbalanced, or they've had toes amputated. It could be anything causing these falls. And your biggest fear is that they're going to hit their head, or they're going to break their hip. When it comes to the elderly, ooh, child, you don't want none of that stuff to happen. If they are not safe to be left alone by themselves.
Right. So if they have like dementia and they wander off,
yeah, you might want to
have somebody watch them 24/7.
If they can't remember to take medication on their own, maybe they can go into like assisted living. Mm-hmm. Maybe. But what if the caretaker is not there 24/7 and they can't remember to take their medication? So personal hygiene, if that's an issue, which I kind of sort of just mentioned. Changes in mobility, that's big. And if they need around-the-clock supervision. If any of those things are going down, you might want to consider a nursing home.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, if they have some type of like trait
with
issue.
Ooh, child, that's a whole nother level.
They may be able to receive care in the home, but then they would definitely need like a nurse to come to the home for that. Or they may be better off in a facility, which is typically where they end up.
I could not stand taking care of vent patients. I did it in a nursing home, and I did it in a hospital. Ooh, wow. Child. Well, when I was doing my nursing clinical, I remember it was like my first rotation, and I was suctioning. I had on like a shield and a mask and a gown, but my instructor thought that it was funny not to really guide me and tell me how to do it. So I did it in the way that I pulled out without like suctioning as I was pulling out. The secretion splattered
absolutely not
right on my face shield. Not. And if I didn't have on a mask, it would have hit my lip.
This is what is stopping me from going to nursing school right now. First of all, the word secretions, I'm done with it. I don't like that word. My mom uses it all the time because she cares for vent patients. Yeah. So she's like, the secretions, they're thick, they're yellow, they're this. And I'm like, I don't like that word, bro. Like, I don't like that word. It's so bad. To even like see it
traumatizes me. And if they cough while you are trying to suction, it's just, it can be bad.
Oh,
so that traumatized me. Okay. So I've always had a fear of it. And when I worked in a nursing home, I always had trach patients. But I learned how to do it properly. And that instructor...
Did you learn it from that person?
Because... No, but that clinical instructor, I forget your name, sis. Okay.
Oh, it was a woman?
Yeah, it was a Black woman at that. I forget your name. People. But I went to NYU. I graduated in 2014. And where was my clinical?
I don't know.
I think it was New York downtown.
Kim always swears she's known me, like, before she's known me. Like, I've been there.
We grew up together.
Elementary, right. I lived in Brooklyn. I'm not from Brooklyn, but I was there.
You are a bad person. I don't remember your name, sis, but you are a bad person and you are not a good nurse. Because the way that you laughed, like that was funny, it was not funny. And that was a secretion. Sorry. Ugh. That was a secretion. And there's so many different things that can be in secretions. Yeah. I'm glad that I had on a proper PPE.
Me too.
But if that would have hit my eye, I would have had to run and do the eye wash. It wasn't funny. I would never do that to my students if that were me.
Imagine hitting your lip.
Yeah, it hit my mouth area, but I had a mask on.
I would crumble. I would just crumble. I'd be done.
So that's all I got in me.
All right, so that's when it's time to not send them to Glory, but send them to a home. Yeah. And make sure they get the care that they need. If you can't do it at home, consider that. And I feel like in episode 1, we talked about we briefly touched on how to research these facilities.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah.
pick the right one.
That was episode
So
1.
that's going to be dependent on why they are going to be at the facility. So if it is for a rehab, you're going to want to research the facilities for that. If they have a vent or a trach or
Yeah,
whatever.
because not all places take trachs, and
not
vents.
all places take it, and not all places are good.
They said get somebody else to do it.
Yeah, they said they said we're not dealing with secretions. Get someone else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it.
Then there's some places that are skilled nursing, which means they have like the nursing home side of things and also the rehab built in. And then there's places that are just like assisted living, which doesn't have all of the clinical stuff per se, but
Not
it's
at
just
all.
like it's just a home.
Normally they have like a pill pusher.
Yeah, that gives out the meds at the times.
And normally that's like an LPN normally.
Yeah. So you want to make sure you're sending them to the right place.
Yeah.
If you need to.
Just do your research and also speak to your doctor. Speak to the doctors about what may be a good fit and take into consideration what they're saying, but don't put all your eggs in one basket about what they're saying. You take the resources that they're giving you, and you always do your own research. Always.
And hit us up if you need some advice. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. That sums it up.
All right. Well, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you for tuning in to Healthcare Snitches.
Yes. Until next time. Bye.